All right, section 3.4. This is called linear programming. And I guess the good news for you is we're not really learning anything new. We're just going to apply what we already have. And I've already posted this problem so you've had a chance to look it over by now. And there's a lot of information here. Somehow we've got to organize it so we can put it together. So the pension fund has $30 million to invest, and we're going to divide it into three places. You got treasury notes, you got bonds, and you got stocks. My first inclination on that was to use X, Y, and Z, because you got three things there. But the problem is you can't graph X, Y, and Z. You can graph X and Y, but not Z. So here's how we're going to do it. Okay, X is going to represent the note in, or the amount in treasury notes. Y is going to be in bonds. And then that's going to leave stocks. So how much are you going to have in stocks? Well, remember that all of these have to add up to 30. That's what this says right here, 30 million. So X plus Y plus whatever the other one is would be equal to 30. Or if you work backwards, that other one, whatever it is, would be equal to 30 minus the sum of the other two. Because when you think of it, let's just put a number in here. Let's say, I'm going to go off to the side. Let's say this one is 5 million and the second was 8 million, and we want to find that third one. So I had 5, 8, and this one. Well, I know the three of them add up to 30, so if I take 5 plus 8 and subtract from 30, 30 minus 13 be 17. Well, it's the same thing here. If I got X here and Y here, I'm going to take X plus Y and subtract that from 30 to figure the amount in stocks. Okay, I'm going to jump down to this part right here. Talk about the yield. Yield is how much you're going to make. That's your profit. It says the yield for the various investments, 3% for treasury notes. So that's going to be 0.03x. 4% for bonds. And 6% for the rest of it, which was that 30 minus, I'm going to have embedded parentheses here, X plus Y. If I simplified that, that's be 0.03x plus 0.04y plus, got to distribute, so that's going to be 0.06 is going to be 1.8 minus x, I'm sorry, 0.06 x minus 0.06 y. I'm going to put the 1.8 first. There was a minus right in here. So I got 0.03x up front minus 0.06. That's minus 0.03x. And for the y's, I got 0.04 minus 0.06, that's going to be minus 0.02y. So think of that as your profit function if you need to, your yield or whatever. I did that one to get it out of the way just to, it's the hardest one, so I did that to get it out of the way. Okay, so let's go back and find the rest of the equations. I'm going to put another piece of paper here. Okay, so the rules for the administration fund require at least $3 million to be invested for each one of those. So that tells you that X is greater than or equal to 3. Tells you Y is greater than or equal to 3. And that other one, that 30 minus X plus Y, is greater than or equal to 3. Let's play with this a second. So that's 30 minus X minus Y greater than or equal to 3. Take the 30 over there, so that's negative X minus Y greater than or equal to, if I subtract the 30, that becomes minus 27. And if I multiply through by a negative to make these positive, I get X plus Y, that's 27. And remember, if you multiply by a negative, that flips that around. So right now we've got 3 inequalities. We got this one, and this one. And there's one more. It says somewhere in here, right here, the amount invested in bonds not exceed twice the amount in treasury bonds. The amount invested in bonds, so the amount invested in bonds, I didn't write them out, but bonds is Y. So the amount invested in bonds not exceed, so that means it's less than or equal to twice my notes, which is X. Okay, and there's one more in there. At least, getting a lot of markings here. Let's see if this shows up for you. At least half of the money should be invested in treasury and bonds. Treasury and bonds would be X plus Y. So at least half the money is there. So that's going to be greater than or equal to half of the 30 we started with, or X plus Y is greater than or equal to 15. So now when you look at it, we had an inequality here, an inequality here, an inequality here. There was 3. Then I went back and got that one, and now I've got this one. So that's going to give me 5 things that I'm going to have to put down. So the next step is, let's go ahead and get our graph. And by the way, if you'll notice on this, there was no chart. You can't really do a chart on this, unfortunately. Charts tend to make things better. Okay, so I'm going to get a piece of graph paper. And let's see. $30 is the number. So I'm going to go across here. Oops. Really wanted to go that way. And I'm going to go up this direction. So 30 is there. I'll explain 30 in a second. When I come up here, I'm going to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30 is right there. Okay, now let's jot down my inequalities again. I had x had to be greater than or equal to 3. Y had to be greater than or equal to 3. I had x plus y was less than or equal to 27. I also had x plus y is greater than or equal to 15, and y was less than or equal to 2x. Just copy my inequalities. Okay. So let's start with the first one. X has to be greater than or equal to 3. So 3 is going to be right there. So I'm going to draw my line. And greater than means we got everything going this direction. I'm not going to put those very dark. You can probably barely see those. I'll do the same thing for y because it's greater than or equal to 3. So now we're talking about all the points up in here. So at this point we're talking about this part of the graph right up in here. Okay, then x plus y. Let me raise this up. For whatever reason, keep going off the paper. Maybe this will help you see better. Okay, so x plus y is less than or equal to 27. So if I go out here, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. I think 27 is right there. Oh, and we can go up here. I already counted this to 30, so 29, 28, 27. So we're going to draw a line basically from 27 to 27. And we're talking these. So now we're talking about the triangular region. Okay, let's go to x plus y greater than or equal to 15. So the x-intercept's 15, the y-intercept's 15. 3, 6, 9, 12, 15. 3, 6, 9, 12. I just lost count. 3, 6, 9, 12, 15. It gets confused. There's numbers that are pre-printed on there, but they don't really match. 15 hits right there. So I'm going to draw my line. And going back up here, this is greater than. Notice that was less than, that was greater than. So that means I've got everything up in this region. So now when you look at it, I've got a little polygonal area, feasibility region, if you want to call it, right in here. But I still have one more to do. I got y less than or equal to 2x. So the intercept 0, the slope is 2. So it's going to hit down here at 0, up 2 over 1, up 2 over 1, up 2 over 1, up 2 over 1, up 2 over 1. That should be enough. So that line goes right there. And it's less than, so that means everything down in this region. So what do we got? Well, our region is going to be here. 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 and here. Which means I'm going to shade it in a little bit, make it look just a little bit better. Get good at this after a while. That's one of the things you're tasked with when you do this, is you got to make sure your graphs look good. So let your artistic abilities come out. If you're like me, you didn't have many artistic abilities, but you make do with what you got. Okay, so that's what it looks like. Now I'm going to slide my book over here because I want you to see this also. And I know you got your own books and you can see this, but when they graphed it, here was their lines, and here's the shading for it. Looks a lot different. And then what they did, since this gets confusing, then they actually went off to the side and drew this little picture. Now it looks a little bit better. And they even put the equations of each of the lines in there so you can find those points. Okay, now I'm going to assume you know how to find the points by now. So I'm just going to go ahead and put these in. This point, of course, you got to be something 3. If you've got a graph and it fits good on the squares, which this one does, you can actually see what you got down here at the bottom. So this is going to be 12, 3. If you went straight down here, that's where the 12 should be. You can actually count the squares. Over here, this has got to be something, 3. Now I did it like this. I know every pair of numbers on here has to add up to 27. So if that's 3, this is going to be 24. I could have done the same thing here. I knew y was 3 because it's on that line going across. Everything on this line adds up to 15. So if that was 3, that had to be 12. Okay, now if you count the squares here and figure this one up, this ends up being 5, 10. And this one up here ends up being 9, 18. However you get those, you can go back and, like I showed you in 3-3, I showed you how to use linear combination. Or if you want to set them as y equals and then set them equal to each other, that's kind of what the book does. That's fine also. Okay, so let's go back to this. I got too many papers. So I'm going to go back to this page here, mostly because I just got room to write. And I'm going to put the vertices down. So all I'm going to do is just copy those down. You may not be able to see all of this. But I'm going to start with 12, 3. And then I got 24, 3. I got 9, 18. And I got 5 and 10. Keep forgetting that 1. So all I did was take the points off of there and put them on this paper. Now, if you go back, remember we were talking about our yield, or I'm going to go ahead and call it the profit. The profit from that other page is 1.8 minus 0.03x minus 0.02y. Now it's going back to this page here, the very beginning, and down at the bottom, remember how I simplified out that yield function. Okay, so just like in 3-3, what we need to do is we need to plug in each of these numbers. So my profit here is going to be 1.8 minus 0.03 times 12 minus 0.02 times 3. And I'm going to get my calculator and kind of cheat a little bit. And this came out to be 1.38. 1.3, remember that's million. 1,380,000 if you want to make that a bigger number. On the next one, it's going to be 1.8 minus 0.03 times 24 minus 0.02 times 3. Okay, 1.8 minus 0.72 minus 0.06. I got 1.02. This is going to be 1.8 minus 0.03 times 9 minus 0.02 times 18. I got 1.17. And the last one, it's going to be 1.8. Can't write my 8s today. Minus 0.03 times 5 minus 0.02 times 10. And this came out 1.45. So look at your numbers over here. I got 1.38, 1.02, 1.17, and 1.45. So that tells you that your maximum yield is $1.45 million at, okay, now I got that 145 using these numbers here. So that means I'm going to put 5 million in, what was first? Treasury notes. I'm just going to put notes. And I'm going to put 10 million in stocks. Well, how much is left over? I had 30, so it looks like 15 million in bonds. And that's the answer. So, quick review. I started with this page. I tried organizing my data. You cannot use a chart on this one. But I came up with some equations. I defined kind of what the variables were. Okay. There's my yield statement or profit, if you want to think of it that way. I used that data to come up with my equations up here. Once I had the equations, I went in and graphed them. Once I graphed them, I found the points, the corners of my polygonal region, my feasibility region. Once I had those points, then I went to this and I plugged in. Once I had an answer for each one, all I had to do is find the biggest, because I'm trying to maximize the profit, find the biggest profit. So that was at 145 when X is 5 and 10. So my maximum yield is 1.45 million at 5 million in notes, 10 million in stocks, and the rest of it out of the 30 was in bonds. Okay, I hope you were able to find that. That was part 1, and hopefully I'll have you part 2 here shortly.